so today I will be talking about the process from the day you start training until your debut. So the audition process I talked about in my previous K-pop related video. I'm starting to wonder if I should name this series. I don't know. Give me a suggestion if you have any. But before I start, I've got to talk about the feedback that I got from my previous audition related video, because I've been bombarded with comments and especially my Instagram DM on people wanting to ask more personal things about the audition process, and a lot more people were asking me if I could take a look at their audition video. I am giving an encompassing answer here that I will not be checking out anyone's audition videos or songs, or we'll have a chat with them about their audition process, nothing. And I have several good reasons for it. First of all, I kept stressing in my previous video that it's all case by case and there's exception to everything. There's no fixed rule. So I can't really give a definite answer to any of your questions. So nothing is engraved in stone. There's no rule, there's no fixed answer, and I am not the queen of the universe, even though I'd be really good at it if given the job. Yeah. And it's a big responsibility, especially regarding taking a look at your audition videos. It's a big responsibility. I don't want to take part in anyone's stream. For me, it's a super sensitive issue, so I don't want to partake in that. And if you are that insecure that you need somebody else's opinion on how you're going to do in the audition, you shouldn't be in this business. You gotta go in an audition if you're confident. Also, because my opinion doesn't matter. I am not the judge of that audition. If the rest of the world thinks you're amazing and that person judging you in the audition doesn't like you, you're not gonna get in. So the only opinion that matters is that of the person that you're auditioning for. So no matter what praise I give you, it won't matter if you flunk at the day of the audition. Even if you have recommendation letters from BTS, it won't matter if the person auditioning you don't like you. The only judge that you need to impress is the person judging you in your audition. And lastly, you don't want my opinion because you won't like what I'll have to say. I will probably be the harshest critic you have ever come across. There was not a single trainee that I've met during my trainee days where I thought, or even after my trainee days, where I saw and thought, wow, this is a huge talent. Not a single, well, there was a single person, and it was Rain. And I met him a couple of months before he was about to debut, when I just entered JYP. Everybody thought that he was going to be a superstar that he is today. Not a single soul doubted that he was going to be big, and there was that wow factor the moment you saw him do anything on stage. Yeah, so I'm really hard to please. I'll probably make you cry, so don't ask about my opinion, okay? But good luck to all your auditions. And people also ask me about, if certain bad things are gonna happen if you go to this company or that company, or if you have advantages or disadvantages as an international trainee or a Korean trainee, or if you're too young, too old. If you have to ask that question, you're not fit for this industry, okay? Even the very secure people go in and come out very broken into 1,000 pieces. So you need to be really sure about yourself. And I also don't want to answer these kind of questions even when I do know the answer to them. There are questions that I can say with confidence because I don't like to gossip. I'm still in the business as a lyricist and a vocalist, and I don't do that. And I do know that there are people who do lead you on or make a clickbait thumbnail pretending to know more than they actually do. But this is not that kind of channel, and I hope you don't come visit my channel for those purposes. I'm just sharing my experiences, but I can guarantee that this is the best place you will get any kind of insight into the K-pop world, because yeah, nobody has been in the industry as a trainee longer than I am. So I've been in the industry for 2 decades now. It's very different. People who've been in the industry for a second, knowing a fraction of the people, having very limited experience, it's going to be very different from mine. This is an industry that really expands your horizons year after year. Yeah, okay, so I'll get to today's topic. So when you are usually picked as a trainee, you do sign a trainee contract. So the trainee contract is somewhat different from an artist contract. Also, again, it depends on the company. Some companies sign you on as an artist straight away. Some companies have a separate contract for trainees and artists. And some people don't sign a contract. If they're unsure, they might not sign right away, or if it's just their policy, they might not sign. But many cases these days, they do sign a trainee contract, which is just like a safeguard for both trainee and the company, more for the company because they're the ones investing their manpower and money. So it's prohibiting the trainee to go to another company while you are signed. And some people ask me if this is unfair on the trainee's part, but I say no, because the companies are investing a lot of things into the trainee. And if that trainee gets all the training, improve, and suddenly go off to another company and debut, that's not right. And it does happen. Before this contract was set in as a normal practice, there were trainees who took advantage of the system and did that, hence the training contract in place. Most of the times you won't get an advance if you're a trainee or an artist. It's really rare unless you have like a really good history of songwriting, or if you have some performance under your belt that's considered really big in the industry. In most cases you don't get a signing fee. But if you are really coveted, or you've just been released from a really good company and people in the industry know your name and how good you are, they will give you a signing fee. So after JYP, every company that I signed, I have gotten signing fees. And it's like, once you're offered the next company you go to, let's hope that there's no next company for you guys, but the next company you go to, they know what happened to you. So they're like, okay, we'll give you more, or at least as much as you've received before. And some people ask me how I got by during my trainee days, how I made a living. I did have part-time jobs all throughout my training years, but the signing bonus helped a lot. And after signing, you start training. Again, this is the standard practice. There are people who are signed and then immediately prepare debut. So this is a case where everything else is set and they just needed that one person to fill the spot. There is an upside and a downside to this case. You go in completely unprepared. You're going to be surprised a lot more compared to the trainees that have been trained for years. And the upside is you go in unhurt. So you'll get to enjoy a lot of things. But personally, if I had to weigh the pros and cons, I would say that going through a training process is a lot better, because there was a phase a few years ago, well, still to this day, that there was a huge surge of audition programs, and people who won or went up high in those programs just debuted right away or just a month after. And I had a chance to be in I think it was like a music program broadcasting station. Going into the building, people were not happy with them because they were so rude. I will not say which program, I will not say which season. I don't want to give off any names, but yeah, they just walk in like they own the building. They won't say hi to anybody. Rehearsals, they just use whatever they use and just like throw it away. They demand like the largest waiting room. During the fitting, they would make a big deal about, do I get to keep the clothes? And if I don't get to keep the clothes, why do I have to wear this brand and promote them when I'm so fabulous and everybody knows me? And they would just say these things out loud. And all the singers, like with 10 years of experience under their belt, they'd be like, okay, so this is what happens to people who don't go through training, don't know what the industry's like. They think they own the world because the program is a success and the ratings are high, but truthfully, not everybody knows you. I also saw the manager who was in charge of the whole pack. He actually scolded them because he just couldn't take it anymore. And everybody was like, you have to say something. They're just so impolite. So he was like, you know what, if you keep on acting like this, nobody will respect you. You'll be out of jobs because nobody will want to work with you. And usually in such cases, singers even, they will look sorry, or at least pretend to look sorry, but they were looking back at the manager like, why? Why would we be ever out of a job? I came second in this competition. So it didn't work. And the manager couldn't comprehend that this just doesn't go through them. And yeah, that was surprising. So in many ways, it's good to go through the training process. There's a reason for the training process. So usually you take vocal lessons and the dancing lessons. This is like a pretty much given class. Depending on your talent, depending on how they want to develop you, they will suggest or make you take other classes like acting, language, interview skills, instrument, songwriting, all sorts of stuff. And these could be group lessons or individual lessons, yeah, depending on the company and depending on how the training situation is. For me, I did experience all of these classes. Some of them I gave up really quickly. For example, when I was in JYP, I took songwriting lessons from Hitman Bang. So I asked him about, I went to his room and I'm like, I'm interested in songwriting. So he helped me find all these instruments and the programs that you need, came to my house, installed the program, taught me how to write tracks, how to write the lead track, the basics of songwriting. And like a month into the class, I'm like, this is not for me. I found out really early that songwriting was not for me, that I am much more interested in lyrics. So yeah, and he also helped me sell back all these instruments secondhand. So, but it was really fun to be in the process, and I am interested in top lining. There's a difference between track writing and top lining, and I found out that I much prefer and have a knack for top linings. If the tracks are all set, the drums and the bass and everything, I go in and do the lead melody. That's what top liners do, and yeah, I much prefer that. So songwriting class passed by really quickly. I took acting lessons throughout the whole training process because all the companies that I went to, they wanted me to act as well alongside singing, and acting class was really fun. Yeah, it was really fun, and it actually does help you perform better on stage. Don't go in thinking, you know what, I'm just gonna be a vocalist, I don't ever want to act. Acting class doesn't mean that you have to act professionally. It really helps you perform on stage as a singer. And when the companies ask you or suggest that you take certain classes, they do it for a reason. So I say be open-minded about everything and try to learn as many things that come your way, because in the end, it really sticks with you and it helps you in aspects that you have never thought of. I also enjoyed language classes. They were fun. I took Japanese and Chinese. Those were the only available classes, and it was mandatory. And I also found that I do not have a knack for these languages. I am so bad. I took lessons for a while. I am left with nothing. Forgot how to say hello. They say for Koreans it's easier to learn these Asian languages, but for me, no. I'm much better with Latin-based languages. Yes, it's different for everybody. Vocal lessons, dancing lessons is a must, and it goes on throughout, even after you debut. Oh, and I also want to say that nothing about the classes and the practice was a stress. Not a single second of singing and dancing and acting and any other things that involved in the training process was stressful. Nothing. It was all fun, all amazing, and if you can't enjoy this, this won't be for you. All the other stuff could be stressful factors like losing weight. I'll get to this. I have a separate video coming on about this. The competition, I wasn't really stressed about competition, but losing weight I had a lot of stress about. Delaying of plans, people, so a lot of things stress me out, but not singing and dancing. So if you think you're gonna be sick of singing 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, think again, because you're gonna be singing and dancing till you drop. And especially in JYP, many, if not most, trainees who were training with me were like myself. They just thoroughly enjoyed the training process, which led to us not being as close. So we were in the same building for more than half of the day, every single day of the year, but we wouldn't have time to talk about personal stuff. So it wasn't until I was out of the business that I got really, really close with them as friends, because all we would talk about is how difficult the songs are, how can I sing this part better, and how can I dance this part better. So it was all we talked about was singing and dancing. What song should I sing next month? how is this choreography looking for me? Everyone was just obsessed with getting better, which was a good atmosphere. And usually the big companies have this atmosphere engraved in the air. And when I moved to the next company, which is KPOP now, it's a huge company now, but back then it was just starting out. We were the founding members, and all the teachers, all the producers, every single person would tell me that, oh, you have that big company vibe. I'm like, what is that? Like, well-trained. You went through the right steps with the best teachers. You've been trained to be polite and well-mannered. You know what to say, you know how to behave in the training room and how to practice even when you're not told to. So one of the advantages of being in a big company is the habit that you acquire as a trainee, the good habits. And the monthly test, the monthly test. It's just a monthly checkup on how the trainees are doing. You don't get a new song each month. It's also different for many different trainees. Some trainees sing the same song for 6 months. Some trainees change the song every 2 weeks. It's different. It's not just because you're good at the song. If they try it on you and it's really not for you, they just like, oh, okay, let's just drop this one and do a new one for you. So it's, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, the fact that you're singing the same song for 6 months, that's not a good sign. For JYP, I don't think it comes into every monthly test these days. I don't know. It's a bigger company now. But back in my day, JYP came into every single monthly test. It was very important to him, so it was a big deal for us. We would sit in a long file, youngest to the oldest. That was the order. And after my TV program ended, I started training with the 언니s and oppas. So I was the youngest. So it was always me first, which was very, very nervous. And everyone is watching you do your thing, and 2 seconds into the song, you know yourself whether this month you're doing good or you're just yeah. Sometimes JY can be really honest and critical, but he doesn't attack you personally. All the things that he says is pretty much on point. He can tell whether you've been practicing a lot or not, or whether this is the song for you or not. And in other companies as well, there were monthly tests. Usually it's in the practice room. Sometimes, especially JYP, they would just rent out like a concert hall and put you on stage just to see how you are on bigger stages. There was one time where we could invite our family and friends. It was to see how you would be in front of a crowd and audience. So yeah, monthly tests are a big deal. During the training process, if you are getting better and they want to try certain concepts on you, they will assign you songs. They're like, okay, so pick any song from this era, or pick any song from this artist, or can you do your own choreography next month? Some of the things that trainees go through as you progress. And then they might pair you with other people. They could group you and make you practice as a group. Not for me, because I was always a solo deal, except for one time in Kakao, but they also still wanted me to do my thing on my own, because even with that group, they wanted me to have my solo out as soon as the group was out. Yeah, they didn't really want me to blend in with the group. They wanted me as like a solo in the group. So I always practiced on my own and had the monthly tests on my own. But depending on your concept, they will group you or pair you. Sometimes it could change like every month. Like, okay, the next month, can you sing with her? Or like, can you three sing together? So it's always changing. And then next level would be you featuring as a dancer or a vocalist or an actress or an actor in the music video for the already debuted artists in your company. So they want to see you, try you out. I did all of that. I was a dancer for Rain, I was a dancer for JYP, I featured in a lot of other singers' albums. It gives you the studio experience. Usually as a trainee, you don't really get to go inside the recording booth. But I heard that these days it's changing a lot, because trainees, when they go into the recording booth for the first time, it's really unnerving. And they get really, really excited and nervous at the same time. So these days, I heard that many companies just send in their trainees to the recording booth just to give them experience and make them get comfortable with it. And then they will try to shape you up. And along this way, you know, anybody could be dropped. I've seen a lot of people drop, and it's really sad. There are heartbreaking moments. People leave But it happens, and I think on hindsight, it's better. If you're not fit for this industry or if you're not fit for this company, it's good to say goodbye early. And if you survive, they will try to shape your album, whether it's a group or a solo or R&B or hip-hop, anything. They will try to get you songs, try to fix a title single, try to set the date for debut. And this process can prolong for God knows how long, because this is really different for every single person. Even in the same company, it could differ for everybody. For example, Jessica, when she got the first single for Girls' Generation, we listened to the song for a year. In the bus. Jessica and I lived in the same neighborhood, so we would take the same bus from our town, come to Apgujeong. She would go to SM, I would go to JYP, and late at night we would take the same bus, the last bus, home. So it happened pretty much every day, so we got close. So she's like, oh, I have my debut single for my group. It was really good. They're practicing the choreo. 3 months later, she's like, okay, things are being delayed. But they're still practicing with that song because it's their title single and that's been set. And a year goes by and then they debut. So you don't know, even if you have your title song and your voice is recorded on it, you don't know when you're gonna debut. You could have a date fixed. I had my date fixed several times. Didn't happen. Many things can happen that can delay your debut. So that's the process. Upcoming videos, I'm just letting you know of the future topics so that you can ask questions on the comments. I will take that into consideration. I want to talk about the mental health of the trainees and the debuted singers because I know there's a lot going on there. I will also make a separate video on weight management. This is a very sensitive topic, and this particular area is the area that is not improving with time. Many things like contract conditions, everything has been improving so much, but this particular issue has not been dealt with at all. Yeah, so I also am going to talk about that and many more videos coming up. So please leave your comment and thank you for watching today. Bye!